Hello, good evening, everybody. Or good afternoon. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome to the warming up workshop for public speaking with confidence. It's an interactive workshop, and it's here right now, right here with you and me and my twin sister, Aneesa. Say hi.
Hi. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you very much. I'm Aneesa Chaudhry. I'm a confidence building voice and performance coach. And you've just been listening to the introduction from Aisha Chaudhry, who is
twin number one. I'm a mindset and a positivity coach. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to be your center of attention for the next 30 minutes. You've made the right decision to be here right now because we are going to help you, give you some tips on how to stand up and speak in public with confidence.
Right. So we're going to start with the key ingredients to public speaking. And they are, drum roll, please, everybody. Come on, let me hear a drum roll or I'm not performing for you. Number one, mindset. Number two, planning. Number three, image. Number four, preparation. Number five, practice, practice, practice. And number six, performing. Now, we're going to take you right back to the beginning. I'm going to start with something called mindset and finding your inner voice. Now, we're going to look at finding your inner voice and explore how you can become empowered to get your inner voice out and powerfully out. Now, a lot of the people that I work with, my clients, are people who want to build confidence in themselves. Who doesn't? Everybody wants to build confidence in themselves. And they want to feel more confident in their personal lives, but also in their working lives. Now, most of these people feel that they're being held back in some way from opportunities. And that's the worst thing, when you feel that you're missing out from opportunities in life and you're not living authentically, you're not living who you are and living the life that you want. And they fear, absolutely fear, public speaking, giving presentations and speaking on stage. So hands up if you are someone that resonates with, or are you all really confident with speaking on stage? Yeah, so, okay. So the impact of this is that when you fear speaking on stage or speaking publicly, you are missing out on opportunities. You're missing out on things like promotions and therefore earning potential. And that means that you're not living the life that you want. So if you were to ask any of them before they chose to do something about it, how they felt, they would say things like, I can't do it. I can't do presentations. The thought of public speaking fills me with dread. And some of them are neurodiverse clients, and they'll say things like, I have dyslexic or I'm dyspraxic, and I feel it's an obstacle that's stopping me from getting what I want in my life. Now, some of those people are just people who want to get their mojo back. They may have raised their children, the kids have flown the nest, and now what they want to be able to do is find themselves again because they've lost their sense of identity. They've been playing the role of the parent or carer from when that child was 0 to 18, and they no longer feel that they can kick ass when they're out and about, either in their personal lives or at work. And for others, it's something like getting up at work when you're asked to present in front of maybe a group of people from a meeting or on stage in front of a bigger audience. They get up there and their minds just go blank. So whether your stage is online or in real life, it's important that you know how to get your message across. So over to Aisha.
That's where I'm here to help you, because as Aneesa said, one of the key ingredients on getting on stage with confidence is all about mindset. And I know this because I'm a mindset coach. So you've done the right thing by being here, right now, because I'm going to take you through some of that. But first, I want you to know that in order to live an authentic life and live a fully expressed life, remember, YOLO, you only live once. YOLO, you only live once, which means when you get up and you go to that stage, you want to enjoy yourself. You want to be happy that you're there, and you want to do it with confidence. So what I do in the morning is I set myself up right from the beginning, so that by the time I get up to talking to people in public, my brain is already rewired and it's already reset. So what do? These are the things I do. I basically start the morning with gratitude. Gratitude, 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 affirmations. So for me, that means I wake up and I say something like, for me, it's a little prayer, but for you, it could be whatever's important to you. It could be, yeah, for me, it's a prayer. I say thank you in 4 different languages because actually I was raised, first of all, speaking Arabic, and then with Punjabi, and then English, and now German. So I say alhamdulillah, I say shukriya, I say thank you, and I say danke, because I'm alive, I woke up and I'm here today, and I want to make a difference, not just in my life, but when I'm on stage talking to the public. So that's what I do. I say thank you first. And then I just bash it out. I bash out my affirmation sentences. Not too long, because I have only just woken up. But this is what I say. I say, I am amazing. I am thankful. I'm brilliant. I'm professional. I'm good at what I do. I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I kick ass. And I'm ready to make a difference so I can go out there and shine. And then I open my eyes and I start my day. That's how I start my day. Over to you, Aneesa.
Well, thank you, Aisha.
You're very welcome, Aneesa.
Oh, no, really, Aisha.
Love you to continue, Aneesa.
Okay, then.
Okay.
We don't do these episodes, actually, like being on telly. Right, so it's important to explore things like gratitude, positive affirmations, and visualizations, because those are the things that are going to support you in achieving your goal, especially when you doubt yourselves. It's important to understand your state of mind and learn how to control things like emotions, feelings, and thoughts. You might be thinking, that's a bit of a muddle, my emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Why are they relevant? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you don't believe that you can do something, you might be able to do it, but you won't be doing it as successfully or joyfully as if you really did believe that you could do it. And there's nothing worse, I think, than getting up to do a presentation on something you've worked really hard on, and then feeling as though you just wish you weren't there and dreading every second that you're there, that it almost feels traumatic. So your mindset requires delving deep into becoming mentally resilient and building confidence in your own ability so that you can say what you want to say the way that you want to say it. Now, Aisha's going to take you through a few top tips for how not to feel nervous on stage.
Thanks, Aneesa. When I was young, I never needed anyone. My time has come. When I was young, I used to literally beg Aneesa. I would beg her, please, can you make that call for me? Please, can you do my homework for me? Please, can you pretend you're me and sit in the classroom for me because I don't want to? And she would say, Aisha, I'll do everything, but I won't pretend to be you in the classroom. But she basically did everything I wanted her to do because it was all outward facing to the public. But she showed me slowly and gently how to do what she was doing so that I could do it. And now, look at me, you can't keep me away from all of this. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. So these are the things that I've carried with me in my invisible rucksack. And I'm going to share them with you because I want you to feel successful when you're standing up in public so that you feel like you're doing it with confidence. So number 1, breathe. Sounds so simple. Take a breath in, take a breath out, breathe. It's so important, not just for standing up on stage, but also for life in general. You need to breathe. You need to have your rhythm, have your beat, go to your beat and no one else's. So what I do is breathe with just a small exercise here I'm going to show you. Aneesa's going to show you one too, but because we're twins, we want to have one between the two of us. She's like, can you cut it out? I said, no, I want to do it. So I'm going to show you one now. She's going to show you one later. This is called the 4-7-8 technique. And you might have heard about it already, but basically you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold 7 seconds, and then you release your breath for 8 seconds. So 4 seconds to breathe in, 7 to hold, and then 8 to relax. So we're going to do it together because this is interactive and that's fun, isn't it? Right? So for those of you who want to follow me, and for those of you who don't, just relax. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. Oh no, hold. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That slows your heart rate right down. And slowing your heart rate right down it actually helps to regulate your nervous system. That's why we do this, because when you're on stage, your brain perceives a threat. It's like going, oh my gosh, I don't know where I am. I don't like being here. But by breathing yourself calmly, by breathing calmly yourself, you're regulating your nervous system. The second thing you can do is swish water around your mouth. That activates your digestive system. Just going to do it again. Oh, I feel good. It's activated my digestive system, which helps me to feel grounded, because that's what we want to do when you're feeling nervous. You want to feel grounded. And you might have noticed I'm standing. I could have done this sitting, but no, I wanted to give you that experience. I'm standing. My feet are solid on the ground, flat. They're flat on the ground. Both of them are on either side of my shoulders. Feet are on the ground. And I have my two fingers. I learned this at law school. Not to turn them around, but to keep them flat like this, and then gently just pivot them at the edge of your table. And this actually provides a podium of balance if you have a podium in front of you. If you don't, then you could probably move your hands around your hips or wherever you're comfortable. But if you have a podium, put your feet flat on the ground and put your fingers like this, just to provide some balance. So you feel safer already because you've got your stability and you're grounded. So that's another tip. What I also do is, regardless of where I am in the world, I get there early. I get there early. I get there early. I was born early. I was born like 2 weeks early because Aneesa wanted to like push me out and I wasn't ready. I got pushed into an incubator because I was born with a cold. Nobody saw me. My mum didn't even hug me first. She hugged her. Because we're twins, but she pushed me out early and I wasn't ready. But it's not a bad thing, because throughout the whole of my life, I always turn up early. When I turn up early, I usually go check out my space and I look around. I don't just go to the stage and look out. I sit in the audience and I look back at the stage or look ahead at the stage, and I get familiar with my surroundings. And if you're lucky to have other people talk before you, which often is the case, unless you're really super lucky that you can do everything on your own, you can sit in the audience and watch them and listen. How do they sound? What's the acoustic like? Are they really quiet? Can I hear them? Are they speaking with their lungs? Are they like putting all that air into their lungs and using their diaphragm to get their voice out? Are they? Because if they're not, I want to make sure that I can do it. And I'll probably tell them later, I couldn't hear you very well. So sit in the audience and get an idea of what it sounds like to be in that space. And if you need some points, like just bullet points, write them on a post-it note and put them down. Just bullet points, nothing too major, because if you have too much script to read from, it doesn't flow. And we want it to flow. Flowing is good. What else do I do? I basically let my cheerleaders cheer me on. So usually before a performance, I let people know, people who are my fans who support me, which is my loved ones and my friends. And some of you here, I say, look, I've got this coming up. And then people leave me a message and I usually listen to them just beforehand, and I psych myself up, just like I did at the beginning of this with my favorite Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves song. And I sang to it because that was my hype song. What else do I listen to? I listen to Faithless, Insomnia. Do you know it? It's the one, I can't play it on YouTube, but it goes like, and then like my heart is like, ready. And I'm like, whoa, I'm ready. Because that is like right now, that's how I feel, ready. Want you to feel ready. So find your power song, your hype song, whatever it is, get it onto your MP3, listen to it through a pair of headphones, block out all that other noise and go out there with a blast. So that's it, pretty much. The last thing I do is affirmations. I go out there just beforehand and I just say, I am going to kill it. I'm going to smash it. I'm brilliant. I'm great. The audience wanted me here. They hired me to be here. I'm being paid to be here. I'm not nervous. I am going to kick butt. Aneesa, over to you.
I'm gonna kick butt.
Kick butt.
Kick butt. So thank you. I feel so energized, even just by osmosis. So look, the next thing we're going to move on to is planning. Now, planning might sound like a really boring part of the whole process. You think, well, surely you just turn up and you can just busk it. I like to busk it. I'll be fine. Well, I can tell you, some people are fine with busking, but most people are not. So if you want to make a powerful impact and be really compelling and get your message across effectively, you should plan your talk. There's this little saying that goes, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. And it might sound a bit depressing, but I think there is a little bit of truth in it. So if you plan, then there needn't be much in the way of too much that's unexpected, like unexpected surprises. Most people fear getting on stage and this idea of it being totally unfamiliar, but that's because they haven't planned anything. You don't prepare, then of course it's going to feel unfamiliar to you. So it's worth planning right down to a T, all of the important things that lead up to not just the moment of being on stage, but the actual experience of being on stage. So are you sitting down beforehand in the auditorium? Are you in a dressing room? What are you telling yourself in your mindset before you get there? How are you carrying yourself and your body as you walk up those stairs, if there are stairs? How do you make sure you don't slip and, you know, maybe your heel gets caught on the stairs on the way up? Honestly, I've walked on stage before and my heel has just suddenly given way, and I've had to just take a deep breath, look at the audience and smile and think, this is real life, we will rock with it, rather than, oh no, this is really embarrassing. But if you plan everything right down to a T, including how to use your resources, it will hold you in such good stead. And when I talk about resources, I mean things like the things that you'd put in a toolkit for speaking. That would be things like a crib sheet, if you have one. Aisha's already mentioned, you know, don't necessarily have a script that you're going to read word for word, because it will just hinder you and your performance. Thinking about how to prepare it so that it serves you when you're on stage is really important. Are you going to use any props? Are you going to use maybe a PowerPoint clicker? Who's been on stage before when their PowerPoint clicker has rolled down into the audience? What do? Well, it's real life. Knowing what to do in those situations makes it so much more fun and manageable than if you hadn't thought about those things possibly occurring. So you need to know what you need, where you're going to put those things, and how you're going to deliver your talk, and how to use your resources. So let's look at your crib sheet as an example. We're going to dive into how you want to use it, and that means breaking down every single word. It needs to be there for a reason. If those words are just there and you haven't thought too much about them, then the chances are you'll lose your audience. So every sentence, every nuance, every pause, every silence, you should be thinking about why you've put them there, so that when you deliver from a really powerful and compelling space. Now, another thing that we would look at briefly is image. Some people think, well, who cares about image? I can wear whatever I want. Of course you can. But if you want to feel great, then if you pay attention to those things beforehand, you can focus on your talk. So let's take shirts and sweat, for example. If you haven't thought hard enough about what clothing you're going to wear, and you suddenly start to sweat profusely, it can be really embarrassing. But if you thought about it and thought, well, actually, I know when I wear this shirt that I sweat, then you're not going to wear that shirt. Same with underwear, but we'll talk about underwear another time. You should know what you chose and why. Okay, Aisha did a breathing exercise with you briefly earlier, and I'm going to just do the very beginning of one that I call the gift of breath exercise. Now, I'm going to ask you all, let me just put you on gallery view for a moment so I can see you all. Everyone give me a wave so that I know that you can hear and see me. Excellent. Right, now I'm going to ask you all to just take a breath in. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. And all I want you to do is put your hand up, and I will count how many beats you take your breath in for. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Great. Okay, so Victoria, everyone just unmute for a second really quickly. Victoria, how many did you get to?
I think it was 8.
Okay, lovely. Ailsa?
6.
Lovely. Sharon?
7.
Super. Bernd?
7, I think.
Andrea?
8.
Super. Ali?
7.
Margot?
7, I think.
Okay. Nisha, I don't know if you're there in Montserrat. What a great name. Okay, I'm not sure that they're, okay. Yeah, I know. I've done Montserrat as part of Barcelona. It's brilliant. Right, now, most of you said between sort of 5 and 8. Okay, now, when you took your breath in, you maybe didn't give a lot of thought to how you took your breath in. And the work I do is really around focusing on breath work for the purposes of supporting your sound and your projection for public speaking. It's not always about being louder. Sometimes you want to make sure you've got enough breath in there that you can control the dynamics. So really bringing your volume down and bringing everyone in. So what we're going to do is, I want you to imagine you've got a tiny cocktail straw in your lips. You know, like when you go to a bar, they're like about that long, you get apple juices. I don't know what cocktails you get because I don't drink alcohol, but you get apple juices with those straws, not a milkshake straw, okay? So just purse your lips for me like this, everyone. What was a bit like a kiss? Mwah, blow me a kiss. Okay, so you can see it's like a kind of hole, right? Not through your nose. When I ask you to do this exercise in a second, don't do it through your nose. You've got to consciously think, I'm doing this through my lips. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in as if we're filling ourselves up and we are a balloon. So when you fill up a balloon with water, what happens to the balloon? It
expands.
I know you know. Everybody else knows. It expands, okay? So instead of breathing in through your nose, we're going to consciously breathe in through our lips and into our diaphragm, our stomach area, which I will just bring this down here, this area here. So if I was going to pull everything in and then I was to breathe into my diaphragm, that air goes like this. And then exhale. Stand up, stand up. We haven't got long. I've only got a few minutes left. Quick, everyone, stand up, stand up. Unless you can't and you really don't want to, but if you can, then it'd be great. Okay, so breathing in with me, just squeeze your tummy a little bit, squeeze your tummy a little bit. I just want you to breathe in with me as you breathe in, consciously through your lips, into your diaphragm. And I want it to be really audible. I want you to hear your inward breath. Okay, here we go. Breathing in. Into your diaphragm, expanding your stomach, and just hold, relax your shoulders, and exhale. Keep exhaling until you feel your stomach muscle engage. And now take a relaxer breath. We're going to do it one more time, and I'm going to do it to the count of 4. Get you to hold for 4 beats, and then just exhale for however long you need until you feel that stomach muscle engage. And just allow yourself to say everything is calm and slowing down. Okay, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Now exhale. Till you feel that stomach muscle engage. Now take a relaxer breath. Okay, so just unmute yourself super quickly, everyone. When you did that breathing exercise, what did you notice in your bodies and in your mind? Anyone?
It's like a pause. It's like a second of pause and then coming back into, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah, excellent, brilliant. So everything slows down. There's that pause that Andrea mentioned. Anybody else?
A little lightheaded.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can happen. Yes. And that's
Yes, I also felt a little lightheaded.
yeah, it's good to know that, and it's good to acknowledge it. And that's when the oxygen is rushing to your head, and you have to just acknowledge it's happening. And the best thing to do actually is just sit down, because if you're already seated, then you'll be okay. But sometimes when you're standing and you're suddenly focusing on your breath, if you take it in super deeply and intensely, that can happen. But it means that you're filling your diaphragm really beautifully with breath. So if you can practice that and learn to control it, it can really control everything that comes next. Now, I won't spend too much more time on breath work, just needless to say that if you can master your breathing, you can master everything, because it all starts with taking control of your body and your mindset. So thank you very much for participating in that exercise. Just moving you can sit down if you're not sitting already, just moving very quickly onto our next point, which is practice. And just to say that, practice people want to avoid practice. People don't carve out time for themselves when it comes to practice. If you create a space in your day regularly, consistently to practice, then you're showing up for yourself and you're instilling good practice habits into your body, into your mindset, and you're becoming much stronger at that thing that you were weaker at. So when Aisha and I used to practice our violin at school, we were, we played violin, recorders, keyboard, we did tennis, we did hockey. We were really fortunate. Our parents tried to get us to do everything, anything that would mean we'd avoid going on the field and getting drunk or smoking with the others. So we were part of a music service and a music school, and we did lots of sports. But even now, if you think about those athletes out there who've just done the football and the tennis, do you think that they would go out without day in, day out practicing? No. Why? Because they don't want to look a fool, and neither do you. So if this really matters to you, then you should carve out the time for practice. And that means everything, your practice, starting with your mindset, your gratitude, your affirmations, and then the actual doing of it. How am I going to say this? Do I like how I sound? Do I want to change it? Etc. etc. Okay, I'm going to stop there because we've almost come to the very end of our session, but I'm going to let Aisha wind up.
Or wind down.
Wind down.
Well, basically, ultimately, you have the top tips now for some of the top tips, not all of the top tips, but a lot of the key top tips on how to stand up in public with confidence. If there are any questions about the tips that you didn't understand, please ask us now because we're here. You've got us for a couple more minutes. So I'm going to open up the floor. If anyone has any questions or any comments or observations, hit us with them because we're here. We're all yours for the next 5 minutes. And then after that, we'll wish you a good evening.